I'm tracking several strong storms as we move through your holiday week, and if you have plans for the holidays, get ready to be flexible because these storms are going to impact many areas in the country. Not just one, but really 3 or 4 specific spots, more than once too. So in this video, we're taking a look at the week ahead in our weather, and I'm going to start you off here on Tuesday. Your Monday's all right, but Tuesday where things get active, and we're taking a look at what will be some snow out here in the Northeast. We have some potential severe weather in the South. And on the West Coast, we're looking at what will be another significant rainstorm with a lot of snow coming to the mountains. And I want to start with taking a look at that system out in the west right here. You can see that rain all coming ashore here on Tuesday. Snow, that's those blue colors in the mountains. If we move this forward through the day on Tuesday, you're going to see the system hit the mountains, drop snow in those higher elevations, drop a ton of rain to the coast, but once it continues to move to the east, it's going to fall apart going across those mountains. There will still be some snow in the Rockies to the east, but really not as much as what we're going to see off the bat, as those mountains, they help to drain some of the moisture. I'm going to show you some of the precipitation we're expecting too, and one of the things you're going to see, again, is that same area I was just showing you. We're looking at precip amounts. Anywhere you're seeing those purple colors, that's on the order of about 1 to 2 inches. Those red colors 2 to 4. Those gold colors you're seeing in Northern California, that's where you could see more than 4 inches. A lot of that falling is rain, but in the mountains you may see a foot, even 2 or more of snow. So that's your impact on Tuesday. You can see the precipitation out a little bit farther east, just not as significant. So that's what we're looking at out there. I also want to take you to the Northeast. You know, we just showed you that snow potential, and if we jump into that, you're going to see this system on Tuesday begin to show up. Snow really falling across much of northern New England, but some of that's going to slip into southern New England too. This is Tuesday morning. It's a quick mover. Here we are Tuesday afternoon and evening, and it's already out of here. So that system, a quick hitter. It's cold, very cold out there, so it's going to be a more powdery snow. But we can also take a look at just how much snow may fall. I'm going to bring us to the national blend of models. I like this one a lot for looking at snow amounts. And if we move this forward, you're going to see snowfall on the lighter side of things. As a whole, we're expecting what may be as much as 3 to 6 inches in some of those mountains, even more at some of the highest peaks closer to Canada. In southern New England, we're looking at something on the order of about a ½ inch to an inch. So a lot of areas got snow in the past week. If you don't have enough for a white Christmas right now, I wouldn't bet on this, but I'm saying there's a chance. I believe we could see up to an inch on Christmas Eve here. That's all you need for a white Christmas. So again, we're keeping our fingers crossed. Wouldn't bet on it, but southern New England, if you don't have snow on the ground, I know a lot of people do now, you at least have one more shot of redemption. So let's bring it back to our overall model here. I'm going to show you that system in the south because we're talking about the potential for some severe weather out there, in fact. And if we move this forward, I want you to pay attention to really this area out here. You can see some of those yellow and orange colors popping up. That's that potential for storms mixed in here as soon as Tuesday afternoon. And you can see that in Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas. And moving this forward, you're going to see even on Wednesday, this storm system, it persists. Wednesday, it's more closer to the Gulf coastline, but there you are, more like Louisiana, Mississippi. We move this forward. You continue to see storms kind of hang around the south. We're actually going to have a second round develop out there. You can see that again across Texas and Oklahoma. And it may be a one-day type of thing, but there is the potential for a couple rounds of strong to severe storms. I'm not as certain we see anything here on Saturday, but there's still the potential. And what we're also looking at is some strong southerly flow here. So that's feeding more energy into the U.S. And while the potential isn't that high for severe weather, there is certainly a chance, to say the least. And I'm going to bring us to one of our other models here where we can see one of the, basically a longer range look at some of the potential for severe weather. So there's your area there on Thursday. I'll say too that Tuesday and Wednesday, I still expect it to be about the same spot. But anywhere you're seeing that brown color, even out there Thursday, even Friday, there is some signal for potential severe weather in that southern, it's not quite the southeast, but getting into the southeastern U.S. out there. So that's a spot we're certainly paying close attention to. I'm going to bring us back to that master model again, and one of the things we're going to pay attention to now is, since we covered the south there, we're going to look back to the west coast as we get later into the week. So let's move this ahead into Friday and Saturday, and you can already see it here. That's a lot of rain reaching the Pacific Northwest. What we have ahead is another we have another atmospheric river event coming to that part of the country, and you're going to notice, especially right here on the Oregon coastline, we just have this persistent flow of moisture onto shore. And what you're going to see as we move this forward is just for that persistent yellow color there. Here we are going throughout the day Friday and into Saturday, and through Saturday, look at that area in Oregon. You can actually see that sort of train of moisture cutting on shore. We move this farther, it drifts a little bit, and then our system comes ashore, but still Oregon looking at tons of rain, and those mountains are going to see a lot of snow too. We're now through the end of Sunday, and you can see that system just beginning to break down out there. So what about how much rain and snow are we going to see out there? I'm going to take us to the rain portion of this first, and we're going back to our map here. And what you're going to see is we're going to change this to 48-hour precipitation, so it'll give us the amount of rain that falls in 48 hours. And if we move this into the weekend, you're going to see these colors pop back up again, a lot brighter. This is now into Friday, and during the week, even after that first round of rain, we could still see a couple inches. But as we move into the weekend, you can see there's your heaviest precip showing up. In 48 hours alone, we could easily see all those others, all those areas covered in gold. We could easily see 4 to 8 inches of rain, if not more. And I wouldn't be shocked if we hover over this. We have some areas. Look at that. That's 8.5 inches more so. Some spots could see up to 10 inches even if this manages to become reach its full potential. But that rain still spills pretty far inland too. I mean, you're looking at mountains a little bit farther to the east, still picking up a couple inches of precip out there. And again, this is over just 48 hours, and you're going to notice that that amount increases if we look farther east, because as the whole system shifts eastwards, it hits those mountains a bit more. So a lot of snow in the higher elevations. I mean, we're talking feet of snow and a lot of rain. Could be up to a foot of rain in some of those spots. So that's where we really need to be paying close attention this upcoming weekend, certainly for that flooding chance and heavy snow in those higher elevations. We can also get an idea of how much snow could fall. So I'm going to take us to our snow map, and we're focused on the northeast right here, but let's shift it over to the north and west, and we'll move this forward. There's our first event, and then in our second event, you see those gold colors really pick up once again. I'll hover over this. I mean, that's just outlandish numbers in some of the mountains out there. We're talking on the order of 5+ feet. So you don't really need me to tell you that's a ton of snow, and it's going to make for a significant, stormy system and perhaps some good skiing at some point. But very messy weather into next weekend. Now, beyond that, we also have to talk about the potential for some temperatures to drop. And actually, before we get there, I almost forgot. There's one last thing I want to show you. I would do the weather on TV here in Boston. I'm not talking about this on TV yet, but if you want a little sneak peek, I'm watching this system out here as we move later into the week here. And there's not a ton here on this run, but this area of the country early next week, getting closer to New Year's Eve, I'm just watching for the potential for one of these guys that you're seeing here to make a run at the northeast. Could bring some snow, but there's a lot of uncertainty there. But anyway, I want to get into those temperatures I was just talking about, because that's one of the areas that we're seeing some big change as we round off the month of December. Now, right now, if you're in the east, you know it's cold. I mean, you can see our cold air mass right here, those blue and purple colors indicating temperatures well below average. Meanwhile, if you're in the western U.S., much warmer than average. And that warmer air is going to come in, and it's going to replace the cold air that's in place right now. The cold air, it's really just backing off, and the warm air filling in the gaps. So as we move this through the start of the week here, that cold air exits very quick. Now we're looking at Christmas Eve. Still cold in the east, but you can tell that really Arctic air mass has already backed off. We'll move this into Christmas Day. What you're seeing are some very high temperature anomalies in Canada. So Canada is actually going to be very warm relative to average. Colder air is going to seep in at the surface across parts of the northern U.S. So while it isn't going to be as warm as our overall air mass tells us, it is still going to be milder going through the middle of the week here. So here we are. This is Christmas right now. You can see temperatures still warm in the central U.S. The north central U.S. really going to be quite mild for this time of year. As we get later into the week, we don't see any really cold air masses. In fact, that warm air really begins to take over. Like I said, it looks a bit warmer here. Our whole air mass is very warm, but we do have colder air just hanging on at the ground. So warmer than average, but not by a ton. Now as we move into next weekend, and as we continue to watch this through the rest of December, you'll see that warm air mass really takes hold, really sticks around. So basically from Christmas time through the end of the year here, we're looking at that cold air to go away and the pattern to really flip as we move into January. And I'm not saying this on air either, but I'll give you a sneak peek right now. Cold air does look like it makes its return. This is as we look into the first week of January. And this is a really promising look as it settles into the eastern U.S. for snow chances on the East Coast. So that's something that we're going to be keeping a very close eye on too. Something I'm very excited about. I know a lot of snow lovers are excited about that as well. But that's some potential that we're looking at there. So that will be about it for this video. Just wanted to give you guys an update on everything this week is going to have in store. I'll give you one more thing to look at here in case you were curious. I want to show you the snow depth. We can get an idea of who's looking at a white Christmas. and how that may change in the coming days. But here is one of our weather models looking at Wednesday. As you can see, it is really just the usual suspects, so to speak. You got those mountains out west, and then you have much of the northern U.S. up here, north central U.S. into the northeast. So, we were really hopeful that there might be a little more coverage this year, but you do what you can do. It's actually still better than many past Decembers. If you like the snow, I hope you're in one of those spots that's going to see a white Christmas. We just got 5 inches here in Boston. A pretty good storm for us here, at least relative to most Decembers recently. But I do want to share that as we move into the last week of December, if you're not a fan of the snow, well, you're pretty fortunate. It warms up quite a bit. But as we get into January, those temperatures drop, the pattern turns around, looks more favorable. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We're just going to wrap this up here. And of course, I'll have more updates in the middle of the week on these storm systems. We do weather updates every Sunday. Love to have you guys comment where you're watching from. Of course, like, subscribe. I'm looking forward to doing more of these in the future, and hope everyone has a great holiday, whether it's Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. Hope you enjoy. Hope you're spending time with family and friends and people, and hope the weather doesn't impact your plans too much. But now if you're in one of those areas impacted, start making a plan B. Stay ahead of the game, and we'll always keep you ahead of the game right here. Have a great week, guys, and I'll see you next time.